Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Today, I want to talk to you about one of the most important lessons I ever learned, a lesson that changed my life and could very well change yours. It's this: learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Now, when I first heard that, I didn't quite get it. I thought, wait a minute, isn't the job the key to success? The promotion, the paycheck, the corner office? But then it hit me. Your job will make you a living, but working on yourself will make you a fortune. And let me explain. In life, many people spend years chasing promotions, pay raises, and better opportunities, believing that the key to success lies solely in working harder at their job. They put in the hours, stay late, go the extra mile, and while that's commendable, it's often not enough. What they overlook is that the most important project they'll ever work on is themselves. You see, success doesn't begin in your office. It begins in your mind, it begins in your habits, it begins in how you think, how you learn, and how you grow. It begins in who you are becoming. And that's what personal development is all about: becoming a person who can handle more, do more, offer more, and leave more. Your job, no matter how important, is just one piece of the puzzle. It pays you based on the value you bring to it. But here's the secret. Your value doesn't come from the job itself, it comes from you. If you want your results to improve, you must improve. If you want your circumstances to change, you must change. The world responds not to effort alone, but to value. And value is created when you work on your attitude, your discipline, your communication, your leadership, your creativity, all the qualities that set extraordinary people apart. Think of it like this. Imagine two people doing the same job. One is constantly learning, reading, attending workshops, asking questions, and finding ways to grow. The other clocks in, does the minimum, and coasts through the day. Who do you think will be offered the next opportunity? Who will be seen as irreplaceable? It's not about the task, it's about the person behind the task. And here's something even more powerful. Personal development protects you from the uncertainties of life. Jobs can be lost. Companies can shut down, the economy can take a downturn, but if you've developed yourself, if you've cultivated real value within in your skills, mindset, and character, then no setback can keep you down. You become the kind of person who can start over and rebuild, stronger than before. This isn't just about books and seminars. Personal development is a lifestyle. It's the decision to take ownership of your growth. It's choosing to read when others watch TV. It's waking up early to reflect, learn, and plan. It's being honest with yourself about your weaknesses and doing something about them. It's realizing that the greatest investment you can ever make isn't in stocks or real estate, but in you. It's easy to neglect this work because no one sees it. No one applauds you for reading 10 pages a day, for listening to an audio program on your commute, or for journaling your thoughts before bed. But over time, this invisible work creates visible results. It changes how you think, how you speak, how you lead, and eventually, it changes your life. So don't just work harder on your job. That's only half the equation. Work harder on yourself, because when you grow, everything around you grows too. Your job will improve, your relationships will deepen, your confidence will rise, and your success will multiply. Personal development isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation of every lasting achievement. And the best part, you don't need permission to start. You just need a commitment, a quiet decision that you're worth it. And once you make that decision, there's no limit to what you can become. Success is not something you chase, it's something you attract. And the way to attract success is by becoming the kind of person who naturally draws it in. It's not about luck, connections, or being in the right place at the right time. It's about becoming right on the inside, in your thinking, your habits, your discipline, and your decisions. You don't chase success, you prepare for it, you grow into it. Think of success as a magnet. When you become stronger, wiser, more focused, more consistent, your magnetic pull grows. Opportunities begin to show up, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. The truth is, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If things aren't going well out there in your career, your finances, your relationships, then the first place to look is in here, inside yourself. Because until you change, nothing else changes. You may switch jobs, move cities, change partners, or try something new. But unless you become more capable, more valuable, more grounded, you'll repeat the same struggles in different settings. It's easy to want the rewards without the transformation. People say, "I want more money," but they don't want to become more disciplined with their time. They say, "I want more influence," but they don't want to develop their communication skills. They want the outcomes, but not the becoming that leads to them. But here's the truth. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. So if you want better, you have to become better. That means taking full responsibility for your growth. Not waiting for a boss to promote you. Not waiting for someone to validate you. It means deciding today that you're going to build yourself into someone who deserves the success you're after. Think of it like a tree. You don't get fruit by pulling on the branches. You get fruit by nourishing the roots. You become fruitful when you grow deep in wisdom, character, integrity, and skill. When those qualities take root in your life, results start showing up almost automatically. People often ask, "How do I get lucky?" You get lucky by being ready, and readiness comes from growth. The best opportunities are often invisible to the person who hasn't grown to see them. Two people can walk into the same room. One sees problems, the other sees possibilities. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. It all depends on who they've become. So don't focus so much on what you're trying to get. Focus on what you're trying to become. Success is never really about the goal. It's about the journey of turning yourself into someone capable of achieving it. And here's the beautiful part. As you become better, everything else follows. Your conversations become richer. Your energy becomes contagious. Your decisions become sharper. Your circle of influence expands. And soon enough, the very things you once hoped for are drawn to you effortlessly. Not because of hustle alone, but because you've grown into someone who naturally receives those things. So instead of asking, "What do I need to do to be successful?" ask, "Who do I need to become?" Because once you become that person, success doesn't need to be chased. It shows up, it sticks around, and it begins to multiply. And the best news, becoming that person is fully within your control. It's a daily choice, a commitment, a decision to keep rising, learning, and growing until the world can't help but notice there's a truth that separates those who merely survive from those who thrive. Growth is not an event, it's a habit. Working on yourself is not something you do when it's convenient, when the pressure is on, or when everything falls apart. It's something you do every single day. It's a daily responsibility, and one that no one else can do for you. The same way you brush your teeth or eat a meal, you must nourish your mind, sharpen your character, and build your emotional and spiritual muscles daily. You can't expect long-term success from short-term effort. You can't read one book and become wise. You can't listen to one podcast and expect your mindset to shift permanently. It takes repetition. It takes commitment. It takes discipline. Think of it like going to the gym. If you go once, you might feel good that day, maybe even see a little pump in the mirror, but if you stop there, nothing lasting will change. Now imagine going every day, even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you'd rather do something else. Over time, the compound effect takes over. You get stronger, healthier, and more confident. It becomes part of who you are. Our personal growth works the same way. Every day you read, reflect, write, listen, or take some small action to better yourself, you're making a deposit into your future. These little deposits might not seem like much at first: 10 minutes with a book, 15 minutes of quiet reflection, a few pages of journaling, but stack those small steps over weeks and months, and suddenly, you're not the same person. You think differently, you react differently, you lead differently, and here's the thing: you don't need a degree to grow. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need intention, a commitment that says, no matter what else is happening in my life, I'm going to invest in myself today. Some people wait for motivation to show up, but successful people create their own motivation by showing up, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that consistency breeds confidence. You don't always see the results right away, but the process is working even when it's invisible. That's why it's called responsibility, because you have to take ownership every day, regardless of mood or circumstances now. It's easy to blame the outside world for why we don't grow. I don't have time. I'm too busy with work. I'll start when things settle down. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't wait for convenience. Life is never going to hand you the perfect moment to work on yourself. You have to carve it out. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Time is not found, it is created. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who work the hardest at their job. They are the ones who work the hardest on themselves, because they know that who they are determines what they can handle. And what they can handle determines what they can achieve. If you want to change your life, change what you do with your days. Start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the power of intentional daily growth. That journal entry, that page you read, that hard conversation you had with yourself, it all matters. Working on yourself daily isn't a task to check off a list. It's a lifestyle. It's the quiet, often unseen effort that builds strong minds, solid character, and unshakable confidence. And in time, the world will recognize what you've built, because it will shine through everything you do in a world where people are constantly looking for the next big opportunity, the next business venture, stock tip, new job, or secret shortcut to success. It's easy to forget a simple but powerful truth. You are your greatest asset. Not the economy, not the company you work for, not the market trends you, your mindset, your habits, your skill set. Your character. The moment you realize that everything you build in life comes through you, not to you, is the moment you take back your power. You see, your job can come and go. A business can rise or fall. Money can be gained or lost, but the person you've built, the wisdom, the resilience, the discipline, the experience that stays with you no matter what, that's what you take with you to every opportunity, every challenge, every season of life. When you invest in yourself, you're making the only investment that's guaranteed to produce lifelong returns. Because no matter what's happening out there, you are still the one making decisions, building relationships, solving problems, and navigating the path ahead. When you improve, everything improves. Let me put it this way. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring to that time, and that value is determined by how much you've developed you. People often say, I wish I could earn more. But the real question is, have you become the kind of person who can deserve more? Because when you become more, you earn more, not just in money, but in trust, in responsibility, in influence, in opportunity. There is no limit to how valuable you can become except the limits you place on your own growth. You can expand your mind, you can deepen your emotional intelligence, you can become more creative, more effective, more confident, but none of that happens by accident. It happens when you treat yourself like the most important project of your life. You wouldn't ignore your most valuable possession. You wouldn't neglect to maintain an asset that generates the most returns. And yet, people do this to themselves all the time. They let their energy drain, they stop learning, they ignore their health, their mindset, their passions. Then they wonder why life feels stuck. But when you take care of your greatest asset, when you nourish it, protect it, and upgrade it, your life transforms. You stop waiting for luck, because you've built the capability to create your own outcomes. You stop fearing uncertainty, because you've become someone who can handle any challenge. You stop chasing validation, because you've developed inner confidence. The world rewards those who take full ownership of themselves. That's the person others want to follow, do business with, promote, or invest in, because that person is reliable, resilient, and always growing. So the real secret isn't out there somewhere. It's not in a course, a job, or a market trend. It's in you. You are the foundation. You are the engine. You are the difference maker. And when you see yourself that way, your priorities change. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose yourself. Take care of your mind. Guard your energy. Master your emotions. Sharpen your skills. Feed your spirit. Train your body. Because everything you want in life flows through the person you become. Remember this. You are your greatest asset. And when you honor that truth daily, success becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it stirred something in you, a reminder that your future is in your hands, and the best investment you'll ever make is in yourself. Keep growing, keep reaching, and remember, success doesn't come to you, it's attracted by the person you become. Until next time, take care and keep working harder on yourself than you do on your job.